Every day, you are growing into the best version of yourself, the best you the world has seen. Treasure to every you there is in the in between. Recently, I've been doing some reading, and this poem stuck out to me because I've noticed that I've grown so much, but I'm appreciating every little part of the process. There's moments where days are not always the easiest, but in those moments, I'm learning how to process my emotions, how to process and deal with triggers, and ultimately heal to where the next day, week, etc., I've already grown more into the person I know I'm meant to be, ultimately the best version of myself. As I just recently had a birthday passed, I feel like I took some time to just reflect on my growth, where I'm at in life, and I'm just so proud of the things and the steps I've taken to just take more moments to breathe in, to focus on the present, to understand that there's a little version of me that still lives, that was hurt, that was betrayed, and ultimately had trauma, but there's another part of me that is right now dealing with that trauma, healing, and I can just see my younger self wanting to reach out and give my present self a hug because of how much growth I have, how much just change. Along with the first poem, there's another poem that I read which basically states you've outgrown the garden you were planted in, and that's okay. And I think that sometimes we are in environments and we think that that's just where we're supposed to be. But ultimately, it's okay. It's okay to outgrow certain people or certain things that you thought you should do or that felt familiar. But instead, to break those cycles, break those chains, and just really become ultimately the person that you know you're meant to be. And so I just wanted to take some time to come to you all and just kind of reflect on the growth that I've recently been receiving, the growth that I have learned, and just how I've been taking more time to be more present, focusing on the little things in life, the beauty, and just know that everything's going to be okay. And every day I'm growing more and more into my higher self. Hey everyone, I feel like it's just so official every single day. I am just becoming my higher self, and I'm just so grateful and thankful. So I want to take some time, I just want to sit and talk and just kind of catch you all up about some things I've been learning recently in my life and just reflect at the same time. So let's just get into it. So I haven't done like a sit down video and it feels like forever. I've been doing a lot of vlogs or travel, morning and night routine. So this is good to just like sit down, talk with you all, just catch up. And I feel like it's something I definitely want to incorporate more on my channel. So stick around as I do want to do more of these just like catching up and sit down videos. But in this video in particular, I just wanted to talk about 3 things that I've learned recently, just with life, and I just wanted to share. So the first thing that I recently have been learning, and just a nice gentle reminder that I needed, is self-love, but not to the topic of like, you know, love yourself so that you can love others, but in the sense of really developing a self-love for yourself so that in the end you can create the reality that you want to live in. I think oftentimes, again, as cliche as it may sound, we're told, you know, first start with self-love, love yourself, but it really is true. The more that you inhabit different things in your routine, in your life, to cultivate a self-love, the more you will feel happier and you will, in a sense, cultivate your reality of what you want it to be. So a good example of this is how I've just been taking myself on dates recently, and it feels so good to just go out. Don't have to worry about, okay, let me wait for this person or see this person's schedule, but I can just take myself on a date. I've also just been giving myself flowers and it feels good. I tap into myself immediately in the morning as I meditate. I ask myself questions like, what do you need today? How are you feeling? Just really creating a gentle self-care with myself, and it just feels so good. And as I've been loving myself more just by those little examples, I realized that now I'm walking into spaces and environments with other people that are on the same wavelength, in a sense, where I'm just meeting other women or even men and people where we can have deeper conversations, really talk about our mental health, healing from different trauma, just supporting each other. Like, hey, is there anything that you need? Is there anything that I can help you with? You know, just those little things that doesn't seem like maybe a lot to others, but it's so just crucial to me, of just creating a lot of safe environments, supportive environments, loving environments. And I've noticed that I was able to cultivate those spaces that I always wanted by first just by first just implementing, that's the word, I don't know why I say discipline, but by first implementing it into my life. And so it just feels so good to just have that. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. The second thing that I'm learning, and that was just a nice reminder, is there is no such thing as good or bad. Now, let me finish. This can sound like what, but I take it and I look at it as lessons. You know, when you were in school, you maybe had a subject that you really loved, like art. You know, art is a pretty typical fun subject. You get to paint, you get to learn different techniques about art, the colors, and it can be just a fun experience away from the craziness. And then math may come along. You're like, math isn't my favorite subject. I really don't like math that much. But you take it, and then afterwards you feel better because you learned something that ultimately you needed to learn, and that is improving your development. And so for me, that's just the season of life I've been in now, where I don't really look at it as anything, oh my gosh, this is bad, I'm dealing with karma for something I've done in the past life. But I just look at it like it's lessons that I'm learning to be my best self. And so when I may have a day that isn't the best, or a really good day, I just take it all in, and I'm just like, God, I thank you. I thank you for the newness of what I'm learning. I thank you for the even moments that wasn't so good, but I know that it's all being used for my development and my growth. And I just take it again as just little lessons that I need to learn in my chapter to develop my life story, in a sense. But I highly suggest that anytime you go through anything in life and it can look like a bad situation, to just tap back into center and realize there is no good or bad, but it's just lessons that we're learning to become our best whole versions of ourselves. So yeah. And then the third thing that I'm learning and just really taking with me in this thing called life is checking in with my inner self. I think that oftentimes we can grow and we can reach these age, or we can reach these milestones, we can be happy for a moment, but then we're right back chasing the next thing that we have to do. Like, okay, I gotta get this accomplished, I gotta get this done. And turning 22 in Paris really just implemented this for me, of like, take a moment to really breathe in where you are actually. For so long, there's parts of my life where I would accomplish something that my inner self always wanted to do, but then I'll be right back into this like scheme of things of chasing the next thing. Okay, now I have to get this accomplished, now I have to do this, when it's like, you just accomplished one of the goals you always wanted to accomplish. Take a moment to celebrate that. Take a moment to take that in and be proud of all you're doing. And so for me, I just check back in with my inner self at least once a week, if not daily. And I just allow myself to really just think about some of the goals, some of the prayers I once prayed and had, and how they have come to vision. Like, I'm living in California, which seems so crazy because I always wanted to move out of my mom's house. I was that kid, like, when I turn 18, I'm leaving, it's a wrap. So I always wanted to just like be independent on my own, do these things. But now I'm really living that goal, and I'm living on my own. I'm experiencing things. I have my own apartment, my own car. As I mentioned, I was in Paris recently. You all saw the video, turning 22, and that was a goal of mine since like 10, 11 years old. Like, I'm talking young, and I was able to accomplish that. And so now, instead of me just trying to rush the next goal or things that have to get done, I just tap back into center, and I just tell myself, like, give yourself a nice hug and thank yourself for where you're coming, because your younger self right now, she would just be so proud. She would be cheering you on. She would be just so happy of your growth and how far you've come. And so those are the three things that I've just been learning recently in life. I mean, I've been learning a lot, but I didn't want this video to be extremely long. But those are like the main three things. It's just, again, to check in with myself, you know, check in with your younger self, acknowledge how far you've come, acknowledge how blessed you are. Anytime you may feel overwhelmed or anxious and you're just thinking about all these different things you have to get accomplished in the future, just think about where you are and how once upon a time your younger self would have given anything to experience the moments you're experiencing now. So tap in and just be thankful and come back to center. As well as really just cultivating that self-love. You know, oftentimes we think about the love we want to receive from other people, but we don't give it to ourselves. We'll write down like, oh, I want a partner that would do this or do this. But have you ever taken yourself on a date, like just by yourself? Have you ever just bought yourself flowers? Have you ever just journaled and checked in about the things you want to do in life, what you don't want to do in life? If the answer is no, then, you know, it's like, okay, why not? Why not do those things, you know? Especially since I traveled to Paris solo, which was like, that doesn't even seem real. I am just so in tune with myself that I no longer wait for people that could be a romantic relationship or just platonic for me to cultivate the environment and the love that I want. I know that one day I do want to be in a romantic relationship, one day, you know, married, kids, the whole nine, but it's a difference because before I was just chasing like one day I want to be married and have kids, but I never really knew how I wanted to be loved or how I wanted to receive love or just the love that I deserved. And now I'm cultivating that where I can be so sure of it, where I'm like, no, I know that I want a romantic love. I know that I want a love that looks like this, very soft and tender, and we can check in with each other, we can meditate, and we can do things bigger than just ourselves. And I know that because I've been giving it to myself. Like I said, again, some examples, but not limited to just waking up in the morning and I meditate. I don't rush to my phone or rush to the world, but I check in with myself. I ask myself, what are you feeling today? What do you need? Do you want an extra 5 minutes of sleep? Do you want to work out? Is you extremely tired? All those questions, I just check in with myself. I journal a lot, and I journal and just reflect on my day, my week, etc. I take myself on weekly dates, like, yes, weekly dates every single Friday. If you know, you all. Okay, my camera died. Well, I didn't die, it ran out of memory space. So hopefully this doesn't ruin the energy, the vibe of the video. But I just wanted to wrap up by saying those are some of the ways that I just love myself and I cultivate that energy in that space. And yeah, I just really will suggest and encourage anyone watching this video to just, again, ask yourself those questions. Have you tapped in with yourself? What are you learning recently about life, and how can you cultivate it to use it now as you continue to grow and develop? Because we're all learning so much and we're all figuring out so much in this thing called life, but it doesn't have to be a bad and scary thing. As I also mentioned, there is no good or bad, just little lessons we're learning to improve and to become a better self. So I definitely want to do this more on my channel, just like checking in with you all and kind of catching up. I know, again, I haven't done like a little sit down video, so I feel a little rusty. So hopefully this video made sense and it wasn't all over the place. But to wrap it up, if you didn't get anything from this video, then just know this, that you are exactly where you need to be. And this is something that I have to remind myself no matter where life takes me, my good, bad days, but that I'm exactly where I need to be and everything is flowing for me, not against me. And that's ultimately just a reminder that I feel like we all need, especially how hectic things can be. And then another thing, as just a gentle reminder, is if no one told you, I'm proud of you. You're doing well. Your inner self, I'm pretty sure, I don't know every single person, but I'm pretty sure your inner self will be so proud of just how far you come, what you've learned, how much you've done. And so yeah, so take a breather, understand that you got this. Life can be crazy, but we're blessed that God is with us every step of the way, and so it makes it not so crazy. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, tune back in. Until next time.